My sister ridiculed me. Where's your husband and kids? Oh, right. You don't have any. My parents chuckled, so I shot back. Where's your money? Oh, right. I've been supporting you until now. The table fell silent. That night was when everything shifted. Hey, Reddit. Family dinners are meant to be warm, comforting, and safe. But in my family, they felt like battlefields, and I was always the easiest target. My sister, Olivia, was the perfect one, with my parents as her loyal supporters, while I was the disappointment they couldn't figure out how to insult politely. But that night was different. It began with a text from my mother. Family dinner night, 7 p.m., don't be late. No, please. No smiley face, just obligation wrapped in judgment. I almost skipped it. Work had worn me out. But something inside me, maybe guilt, urged me to go. So at 6:55 p.m., I enter the same dining room from my childhood. The same chairs, the same curtains, the same cold atmosphere. I could never escape it. Everyone else was already at the table. Mom, Dad, I greeted. Olivia, with her flawless hair and perfect smile, didn't look up. Nice of you to finally show up, she said. 6:55 wasn't late, but she didn't care about the facts. I sat down quietly, placing my napkin in my lap. Dad filled my glass with water as if he was doing me a favor, while Mom wore that tight, fake smile she reserved for moments when she wanted to appear supportive but really wasn't. How's life in your little apartment? She asked sweetly. I bit my tongue. 2 years ago, I bought her a new washing machine. Last year, I paid her credit card bill. Last month, I helped Dad fix his car. But to them, I was still the one struggling. It's fine, Mom, I replied. Olivia snickered under her breath. The tension peaked after the main course. Olivia set down her fork with a flourish, as if she had been waiting for the perfect moment to stab me with her words. She looked around the table and then at me. In a sickeningly sweet voice, she said, So, where's your husband and kids? She paused, smirk broadening. Oh, right. You don't have any. Mom chuckled, and Dad laughed louder. The three of them sat there, mocking my life as if it were a joke. But I didn't laugh. For the first time, something inside me didn't break. It sharpened. I stared directly at Olivia, calm and steady, looking straight into her eyes. She blinked, surprised that I wasn't shrinking away like usual. Then, in a quiet tone that cut deeper than a scream, I said, Where's your money? Right. I leaned back, still holding her gaze. I've been supporting you. Silence fell. Mom's smile faded. Dad stopped chewing. Olivia's jaw dropped. I wasn't done. Your rent. Paid by me. Your phone bill. Me. The down payment for your new car? Me. Your emergency credit card balance. Me. Their faces lost color. Olivia stammered. I didn't ask. I interrupted. No. You expected. That's worse. Mom slammed her fork down. That's enough. I replied softly, No, it's not. I turned to my parents. You always mock me. I said quietly about not having a husband, not having kids, not being like Olivia. Dad's expression tightened, and Mom crossed her arms. But I'm the one paying your bills, I continued. I'm the one helping you stay afloat. I'm the reason you sleep comfortably at night. Olivia scoffed. So what? That's what families do. I tilted my head. No, that's what you do. Her cheeks flushed. Dad leaned forward, his voice low and threatening. You think you're better than us because you have a job? A few paychecks. I didn't blink. No, I think I'm better because I take responsibility for my own life. The silence grew thick, uncomfortable, suffocating. Then I added the sentence that froze the table forever. And starting today, I'm done supporting all of you. Mom's face went pale. Olivia's hands tightened around her napkin. Dad slammed his palm on the table. How dare you? He roared. I didn't move. You always needed us, Mom cried. No, I replied. You needed me. Dad stood up abruptly, his chair scraping across the floor. You spoiled, ungrateful. But Olivia interrupted. Wait, what do you mean you're done supporting us? She looked panicked. Who's going to pay my rent? I shrugged. You are. You're an adult. Mom clutched her chest as if I had stabbed her. You're abandoning your family. No, I said coldly. I'm stopping you from using me. Olivia stood up, too. You can't just leave. Dad's face twisted with rage. You better keep helping your sister. No, I said firmly. He slammed the table again. You'll regret this. But before he could finish, Olivia cried out. You can't do this to me. I have a life to maintain. I raised an eyebrow. And whose job is it to maintain it? Her lips trembled, and she revealed everything. Thomas won't marry me if I can't afford my share of the expenses. My parents fell silent. She covered her mouth too late. I exhaled slowly. So this was what it was really about. Her voice broke. I need your help. No. You want my money. Mom tried to switch the blame. Your sister is your blood. So are you, I replied. And yet you mock me for not having kids or a husband. Dad growled. That's because you're selfish. I finally lost my composure. I stood up. No, I'm at peace. And you can't stand peace unless you control it. Mom suddenly threw her napkin on the table. Fine, she spat. Leave. Go be alone. When you're old and childless, don't come crying to us. Olivia wiped her angry tears, muttering, I hate you. Dad pointed at the door. Get out. I picked up my purse. I plan to, I said, but just as I reached the door, it swung open. In stepped Thomas. Olivia froze. Mom gasped. Dad's jaw tightened. Thomas looked at all of them and then at me, and in a calm, steady voice he said, Actually, you all need to hear something. Olivia shook her head violently. Thomas, no. But he gently pushed past her, his eyes burning with a fierce intensity, anger, guilt, shame. I couldn't tell. Then he said, I wasn't just coming to dinner. I came here because Olivia hid something important from all of you. The room turned icy. Mom whispered, What did she hide? Dad stared at Thomas, confused. Thomas swallowed, then spoke slowly and clearly. Olivia has been lying to you and to me for years. He stood at the doorway, chest rising and falling, eyes locked on Olivia as if he no longer recognized her. My parents stared at him, perplexed. Olivia, please don't, she whispered. But he stepped forward. No, everything comes out tonight. The room fell silent. Even the clock on the wall seemed to stop ticking. Mr. and Mrs. Carter, Thomas said, his voice tense. You've always praised Olivia for being successful, responsible, and mature. Mom nodded proudly. She is, she said. She's our perfect girl. Thomas let out a humorless laugh. Perfect? She hasn't been paying her share of our rent for over a year. Mom blinked. What? Dad frowned. That's not possible. She told us she covers half. Thomas shook his head. No, I cover almost everything. Olivia's voice cracked. Thomas, stop. He ignored her. She told me her family was struggling and that she was using her money to help all of you. Mom gasped. Dad sat straighter. I nearly choked. She said she sends you money every month. Thomas continued. She made me feel guilty if I asked her to contribute more. Mom looked genuinely confused. We never got anything. Thomas nodded painfully. That's what I thought. Then he looked at Olivia, and that's when I realized she wasn't helping anyone. Thomas pulled something from his coat, a stack of printed bank statements, and placed them on the table. Every time she said she sent money to her family, he said quietly, she spent it here instead. Mom grabbed the papers, her eyes widening as she read them. Restaurants, spas, luxury bags, clubs, hotel suites. Olivia! Dad snatched the papers, flipping through them angrily. You wasted thousands of dollars. Olivia burst into tears. I needed to feel good. You didn't want to, Thomas said, stepping closer. You didn't want to contribute. Then he turned to me. And Anna. I stiffened. He exhaled slowly. She told me you were wealthy enough to help her, that you had plenty to spare, that she deserved support because you owed her. My throat tightened. I owed her what? Thomas's jaw clenched. She said you ruined her childhood by being the favorite. I stared at her in disbelief. Me, the favorite? The one who was mocked at every holiday? The one who was expected to pay everyone's bills? Dad slammed his fist on the table. Is that true, Olivia? You lied about your sister being the favorite. Olivia screamed through her tears. You always cared more about her. She had the good grades, the good career, the good reviews. You secretly liked her more. Dad's face twisted with confusion. No, we didn't. We were harder on her because she could handle it. The room froze. Mom whispered, "Oh my God." I felt as if the air had been knocked out of me. So that was it. Olivia wasn't spoiled because she earned it. She was spoiled because they felt guilty. And I was treated like I could handle anything. Thomas swallowed hard. "There's more." Dad stood up, voice shaking. "What more could there possibly be?" Thomas looked directly at Olivia, his fiancée, pain etched on his face. "You didn't tell your parents or me what you really did with the money Anna sent you last year." My stomach dropped. "What money?" I whispered. Olivia covered her face. Thomas answered for her. "The $15,000 she donated to help you pay off your student loans." The room turned icy. Dad's voice cracked. "You told us Anna refused to help you. You said she was selfish." Mom gasped, placing a hand over her heart. Thomas stepped closer. "She did help." He pointed at Olivia. "And Olivia used every dollar on plastic surgery and a vacation to Greece." Mom screamed. "You what?" Dad roared. "You lied about everything." Olivia screamed back. "I did it because you expect me to be perfect." Dad shouted. "You stole money." Mom cried. "You manipulated your sister." I stood frozen, watching the three of them unravel. Olivia sobbed, her shoulders shaking. "You don't understand. My life is falling apart. Thomas wants a partner who contributes. You two want me to be perfect. And Anna has everything together. I couldn't let anyone know how messed up everything is." Finally, I found my voice. "Olivia, all you had to do was ask for help, honestly." She shook her head violently. "No, you wouldn't have respected me." My chest tightened. "Olivia, I've always respected you. I just didn't want to be used anymore." Thomas ran a shaking hand through his hair. "I can't marry someone who lies about everything. Someone who manipulates her own sister." Olivia screamed desperately. "No. Thomas, please." He lowered his head. "I'm sorry." Those two words shattered her. Dad pointed at Olivia, trembling. "You ruined everything tonight." Mom slapped the table. "We raised you better than this." Olivia cried harder. "You raised me to survive by lying." Silence hung in the air, thick and unbearable. Thomas slowly walked toward the door. "I'm ending the engagement," he said quietly. "I can't build a life with this level of deceit." Olivia fell to her knees, sobbing. Mom fainted onto a chair. Dad looked like he aged 20 years in 2 minutes. Thomas turned to me. "I'm sorry you got dragged into this." I nodded softly. "It's not your fault." He gently squeezed my shoulder before leaving. Mom finally looked at me with red, swollen eyes. "You really supported us all this time?" I nodded. "I did." Dad swallowed hard. "And now?" I grabbed my purse. "Now I'm supporting myself." I walked toward the door. Olivia cried my name, reaching out as if she suddenly needed me. But I didn't stop. For the first time in years, I felt free.